Hello, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Overman. Good evening, graduates, parents, families, faculty, guests, crying baby, PNC Bank, Frontier, Pepsi. My heartfelt congratulations to all of you. This is very, very exciting, and I'm very happy to be here. It's an honor to be here at the Wachovia Arena. It's the very same place where the Harlem Globetrotters played many fake basketball games, where countless WWE superstars fake wrestled each other, and where Cher lip-synced her song Believe. I imagine most of you see me up here on the podium and you're thinking, wow, David Wain is speaking at my graduation. That is incredible. So exciting and awesome, and I'm such a big fan. Well, maybe not all of you are thinking that, but maybe half of you. Perhaps, okay, some of you. Several of you, maybe several of you. All right, okay, we'll be honest here. Most of you are like, who the hell is that guy? And what is he doing here? And why is he talking to us? So by way of introduction, I can tell you that I am not the first African-American president of the United States. I am not the founder and chairman of Microsoft. And I'm not Oprah Winfrey. I'm not even Ellen DeGeneres. Well, in some ways I am Ellen DeGeneres, but one thing I can say, as Mr. Overman mentioned, I grew up in Northeast Ohio, which is just one state to the left, and then I've lived in New York for the past 20 years. That's one state to the right. And that's where I went to college, that's where I settled, and that's where I work as a writer and director and performer in movies and television and nightclubs. And most all the projects I've done over the years have been rewarding for me, but financial failures, that is until this year when I co-wrote and directed the movie Role Models, which was my first venture that actually turned a profit. It was a great experience. So I've been through a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and I thought I could just share some of what I learned along the way. But just to make sure that I was using the latest modern tools, yesterday I decided to go on Twitter and ask everybody there what I should say tonight. For those of you who don't know what Twitter is, it's on the internet. So I got over 100 suggestions on my Twitter. Most of them are way too raunchy to repeat. But I thought I would just share some of them with you. Maybe it'll help us get a sense of it. These are real, by the way. One person said, David, you should talk about sports. That's what my commencement speaker discussed. We'd love to hear your thoughts on golf. You don't want to hear my thoughts. I don't have any thoughts on golf. I know nothing. Another said, you should just read all the lyrics to Armageddon It by Def Leppard and then sing Amen at the end. All right. So, obviously some of these suggestions are more popular than others. This one just suggests open with, "Sup, nerds." This one says, don't say anything, sing it. Say, go forth ye and prosper, or not. What does it matter anymore? And then start crying on the podium. Tell them, follow your dreams, then when you get the chance, have sex with them. Just say the normal stuff. Good luck with your future. You have the tools to succeed, farts, etc. That one I don't understand. This one said, no offense, but you should have planned this out before today, maybe. That's a good point. That is a good point. Just a couple more, because I found these amusing. One said, my grad speaker was Ann Landers, who told us we probably weren't going to get jobs. Inspire them like that. Ann Landers, come on, Ann, you can do better. Tell them to wear sunscreen, then put a beat behind it, and finally release it to pop radio. And finally, start with, President Obama once said, and then do Obama's Iowa caucus victory speech. I mean, that's a good speech. But you know what, it's all very good advice, but what I think I'll do is maybe do some of that later, but I'm going to start telling you about some stuff that really did happen in my life. Growing up as a kid in Cleveland, Ohio, I loved playing around with a video camera and making my friends laugh, but I had no particular career goals. I really thought life was basically elementary school, middle school, high school, and then college, and then it was over. And that's why I was confused why they call this commencement, because I'm like, this is the end of it. Another thing, by the way, I thought is that the reason that you wear those kinds of cap and gowns was that people who graduated college were smart enough to balance the board on their head. I didn't know it had a little holder thing. So I was very impressed with anyone who, I am impressed with people. I'm impressed with you guys. Even though I see the little holder thing that holds the cardboard. Anyway, so I realized that I've been out of college now 18 years, and I realized that the adventure of life actually happens, really starts after you graduate and you go out into the world. I went to school in New York City, mainly because that's where Woody Allen was and Saturday Night Live and the Muppets. But soon after arriving at NYU, I met a bunch of like-minded guys and one girl, and we formed a comedy troupe called The State. And almost immediately, I stopped wanting to work with my heroes and wanted to actually work with my friends and do our own kind of comedy with the people that I got along with. I'm gonna have some water. So, soon after graduating, our troupe had this very lucky situation of being able to write, direct, and star in our own sketch comedy show on MTV called The State. I say it was lucky because there were definitely a lot of lucky things involved. Within a year of graduation, my 10 best friends and I were making our own TV series. But it was really an example of something that I learned over and over again through the years. Luck usually comes as a result of hard work. Before we were discovered, we spent 4 years busting our asses, learning how to write, studying comedy, producing live sketch shows and short films. We sewed costumes, we painted sets, we drew posters, but mostly we tirelessly, obsessively wrote and rehearsed our material as if it was going to be seen by millions across the land instead of 85 people in a black box theater. We never earned a cent during those years, but we gave ourselves an enormous head start so that when luck did come knocking at the door, we were dressed and we were ready. When MTV hired us, we'd already established a process of working, a voice to our comedy, a real confidence in what we did. And it was during those years at MTV where I learned my first big lesson in creative work, which I think extends to all work. And it was the lesson of quantity as a means to achieving quality. Here's what I mean. When we were writing our sketches for our TV show, we'd work like this. Every day the 11 of us would get together and pitch to each other out loud the new material we'd written. If I read something and the group thought it was funny, they would then give me lots of notes and I'd go back and rewrite. Or if they didn't think it was funny, I threw it away. One sketch I remember I threw away was about how there was an evil criminal who released forgetting spray into a cheese factory, and then all the workers forgot how to make cheese. That was a rejected one because it wasn't funny. It was important that we were brutal with our material, as you guys were to mine, and I appreciate that. That's the lesson. Because we knew that being polite wouldn't help us do our best work. And over the years, I've always tried to work with people who tell me the honest truth. The best leaders surround themselves with people who challenge and push and question them. And I believe our President of the United States now is a great example of a leader like that. So ultimately, our group, during making the show, approved maybe 100 sketches per episode. The network would nix some of them, and then we'd vote on the best 20 that would go out and shoot and edit. And of those 20, maybe 10 or 12 would end up in the episode. This discipline applies to everything I've done in my career since then. And I think it works no matter what your field is. I always remember that Babe Ruth was the home run king, but he also set the record for strikeouts. The world remembers the home runs. Another version of this same idea I heard is, if you want to get an elephant pregnant, you have to screw a lot of elephants. So go up to bat, screw the elephants, you'll eventually hit a home run with one of the elephants. So by my late 20s, the stage show was over, and I was unemployed. I had no clear idea of what to do next. What did I want to do, stand-up comedy, or acting, or writing a TV show, directing a music video, making a movie? I didn't have a lot of focus. And finally I thought about it and I decided what I want to do most, what most is my passion and takes use of the skills that I had so far, was to write and direct an independent film. So my friend and I wrote a screenplay for a movie inspired by experiences I had at summer camp. We showed it around trying to raise money, but it got no bites.